If you've ever wondered why a British person says sorry to you when you bumped into them, this episode is for you. Today, Doug and I are unpacking 12 things that will genuinely confuse you in the UK until you know the rules.
Welcome to the UK Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is the founder of the UK Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. Each week, Tracy shares destination guides, travel tips and itinerary ideas, as well as interviews with a variety of guests who share their knowledge and experience of UK travel to help you plan your perfect UK vacation. Join us as we explore the UK from cosmopolitan cities to quaint villages, from historic castles to beautiful islands, and from the picturesque countryside to seaside towns.
Before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Walks and Devour Tours. If you're planning a trip to London, you'll already know the challenge. There's a lot you want to do and only a limited amount of time to fit it all in. That's where the right tour makes all the difference, because you want experiences that are the best use of your time, with more access, less waiting and a deeper sense of the city. That's why we recommend Walks and Devour Tours. They offer walk-in tours and food tours designed to make your time count, often with early or after hours entry. You'll also be with exceptional local guides who add the stories and context, so you leave with a richer understanding of what you're seeing and a trip that feels genuinely memorable. If you're visiting London as a couple, with family, or you simply prefer a more intimate experience, Walks and Devour Tours also offer private tour options. To learn more, you'll find the link in the show notes. Now let's get into this week's episode. Hi everybody and welcome to this week's edition of the UK Travel Planning Podcast, episode 198. Can you believe it? Can you believe it, Doug?
I know.
I've managed to talk through 198 episodes. So if you're new here and you're new to listen to the podcast, welcome. I'm Tracy Collins, the host of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. This week, Doug is with me. Doug is not always in every episode, are you, Doug?
No, I'm not. I'm not actually with you, am I, really, today?
No, you're not.
I'm sort of on the other side of the planet.
Yeah. Well, yes, I'll explain that in a minute. But anyway, so yeah, if you're new to this, Doug is our UK train expert and my husband. So yes. He's also the co-founder of UK Travel Planning. So just to kind of briefly explain, I'm actually in London at the moment, and Doug is all the way over in
Australia.
In Australia, but you'll be coming over in the next month or so, won't you?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 weeks. The 25th of May.
Yeah, you'll land. So that's really cool. So I've been in London for the last few weeks, just having a really good time and doing some fantastic tours. So I've been out with the English bus for a few tours the last few days. There's an episode coming next week all about that. So if you're thinking about taking some day tours from London, listen in for that episode, because I'm going to talk about the 3 different tours I've taken with them from out of London, which have been really, really good. And I've also did a food tour, which I know you're going to be really jealous of, Doug. I did a food tour of Devour of Borough Market, which is always fun.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So I really enjoyed that. And also a big shout out actually to Naomi and David, who were also on the tour. And it was lovely when Naomi walked up to me and went, "Oh my goodness, it's Tracy from the podcast, a big podcast fan." So we had a photo taken and then we spent the whole morning together on the food tour. So that was really good. So hi, Naomi and David, continue to have a fantastic time on your UK trip. So anyway, I just thought for this episode, we would talk a little bit. We've got a few episodes in the past, a little bit about British culture, because obviously we always talk about the practical things, don't we?
Yeah, that's right.
We talk about trains and tickets and places to visit and how to get there and all that sort of thing.
And then more trains.
Well, you can talk about trains forever, can't you?
Okay.
But one of you can. One of the things I think is really interesting to talk about is actually British culture, and there are a lot of I don't know, there's some confusion, I think, about a lot of British culture and the ways that we say things or ways that we behave. And I think honestly, it doesn't matter how long you live here. And I know there's a lot of people that come and they stay here for 10 years or 20 years and stuff. I still think sometimes things can be a bit of a mystery because we grow up with this. We kind of grow up with this, and it's kind of in our blood. So I just think it has to be a British person that really explains this to you, because I just think, it was really interesting actually, because we were, as I say, we were on this with the English bus a couple of times this week, and obviously on the bus there was the two guides who were amazing, and myself and my friend Terry who came on. So at one point, actually, the guide said, "Look, you've got 4 Brits on this bus, so if there are things that you don't understand about British culture, this is the best time to ask the questions," which was really, really funny. So there's quite a few questions came up, which was good. Anyway. You know me and talking. I could talk forever, but I thought let's. I've kind of put it into 12 points. So 12 things we're going to talk about, and we're just gonna have a conversation about this. We're going to just chat, me and Doug. So hopefully,
and that's just scratching the surface. There's so much you could talk for hours about this.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, we could. We'll probably have in the past. But anyway, I thought I'd make it a little bit more succinct and just do 12 kind of things that stuck out to me. The first one is probably one of my favourite ones because it confuses so many people. This confused when we first moved to Australia. This confused so many people. But we will say, "You're all right, Matt. You're all right." You're right.
Yep.
You might meet somebody and go, "Oh, you're right. You're right." But no, it's a greeting. We're not actually asking you if you're all right, are we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean there is regional accents on top of that as well, which we'll cover later. But
yes,
where I come from, it's you eat.
Yeah, you eat me duck.
You eat me duck. Yeah. So it's like in Derbyshire, Staffordshire. Yes, that's one way of speaking. But it is you're dead right. It's not a license to then just give like welfare check. Give me your medical history, please. No. The standard response is, "I'm fine, thanks. Are you all right?" Or "How are you?"
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. How are you? It's basically just a way of kind of just saying hello. It's just a way of saying hello. Yeah. So we're not. Yeah. I mean, it's really funny. I remember when I first moved to Australia, and the company I was working for, I said it to. I think the cleaner came in and I went, "Oh, you're all right." And she did not know what to say to me. She was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." kind of. And I went, "Oh," and I realised after a couple of days that she just wasn't quite sure how to respond to that. No. So I was like, "Oh, it's just me saying hello." So,
particularly when there's the inflection at the end. If you add that onto it, it makes it sound like a question, but you don't know to what level you're supposed to answer.
Yeah, that is so true. That's so true. Yeah. So if I meet you in the street in London, you come up to me, or Doug, if you recognise us, come and just say, "You're right," because that would be great. We'd love that, and it would be like, "Yeah, we're good. How are you?" So
and just to confuse it, you might even just get the "You okay?" Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a short version again, so that's even more confusing.
Yeah. So basically, just remember, it's just a way for just to say hello. So just say, "Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?" That's the best way to do it. But you're right. It doesn't need to have a huge more explanation.
But ask it back as well. Ask back as well.
Yes. But that is probably one of my favourite ones, and I just know that confuses so many people because they're not quite sure what to answer.
Just smile.
just smile and nod. Yeah, that's probably the best way. What about the next one that I put on the list, Doug? What's this one?
Oh, it's the British institution. It's called queuing. We are good at it.
We are very, very good at queuing or lining up. And if you're from America, you probably say that, lining up. We call it queuing. It's a national pastime. And I tell you what, you get it wrong and you're in trouble. But you're not in trouble in a kind of obvious, somebody's going to tell you off kind of way. You're in trouble in a 10 people in the queue that you may have just jumped in front of are going to give you the stare.
Or a tut.
Or a tut. Yes. They will look at you and they'll be like, there'll be accusatory stares at you.
Non-confrontational, of course. Yeah. But you might see one or two other people in the queue look at each other with a knowing look and just... Yes,
they probably will, and they'll probably be tutting. They'll probably will be shaking of heads, or usually the shaking of heads, a bit of shaking, but not aggressive shaking of head, just a little. Maybe a sharp intake of breath.
It's a silent understanding. No words are exchanged between people, but they look at each other and go, We know, don't we? Yeah.
And then just a kind of like, how has this happened?
Yeah, we
How
see
have
this
these people...
jumping on trains as well and things like that, and the looks and the... yes,
absolutely.
That's not right.
Actually,
but we do
you,
enjoy it.
We'd enjoy queuing. Yes, I think we do, and it really is like it's like a social. It's just a social thing that we do when we don't break the rules.
I do swear you could start forming a queue somewhere in the UK for nothing at all, and people would join you.
I think you're absolutely right. You could end up with this massive, great big queue. Nobody knows where they're going, but they just stand really quietly and politely in that line.
Yeah,
That's absolutely true. I have to... Yeah, I was going to say that my this thing about it, actually, I think it is seen as a bit of a character failing if by British people if you can't queue. And my favourite example of this was actually it was in Paris, and it was when Dominique was very young, and I'd gone with my mum to Disneyland Paris, and we were standing in a queue for the toilet, and this lady just walked in, looked at the queue. And just one of the cubicle doors opened, she went straight in it. My mum was apoplectic in a very quiet English way, but she just was like, what's that? She literally couldn't speak. She was kind of like, I can't believe that. After she got into kind of like the shock, but it was like that. That's not a British thing to do. And I'm like, well, we're in France, Mum. We're not
British.
Yeah, just not a British thing to do. But yes, so make sure that if you're going in a particular place and you see that there is a queue and you're not sure where the queue starts, this is also really important. The best thing to do is ask, are you in the queue?
Are you queuing?
Yeah, because if you go and stand in front of them, you're going to get the stare. So you're best to ask. You always ask, and you'll see that British people will ask, "Are you in the queue? Are you in the queue?" And then people will politely kind of suggest, the end of the queue, and often they will say, "The end of the queue is there," and they will tell you exactly where to go and stand.
It's an acceptable question as well. You're not breaking any sort of social barriers. It is a perfectly acceptable question.
Just a quick pause to thank our sponsor, Walks and Devour Tours. If you're planning a trip to London, you'll already know the challenge. There's a lot you want to do and only a limited amount of time to fit it all in. That's where the right tour makes all the difference, because you want experiences that are the best use of your time, with more access, less waiting, and a deeper sense of the city. That's why we recommend Walks and Devour Tours. They offer walking tours and food tours designed to make your time count, often with early or after hours entry. You'll also be with exceptional local guides who add the stories and context, so you leave with a richer understanding of what you're seeing and a trip that feels genuinely memorable. If you're visiting London as a couple, with family, or you simply prefer a more intimate experience, Walks and Devour Tours also offer private tour options. To learn more, you'll find the link in the show notes. Yeah. Are you in the queue? Also, the other one I have to talk about is keeping a place in the queue. Now, that's also quite an interesting one, because you can do that, and often we'll do that. You'll keep a place in the queue, and I'll go and do something, and I'll come back. But we're still uncomfortable with that, I think, because it depends how many people come back with you. So if it was me and Doug kept the place in the queue and I just came back to him, that would probably be acceptable. But if I turned up with 15 people, I think there might be a mini riot.
You know what I'd have to do is I'd have to turn around uncomfortably and tell everybody, that's my wife. That's my wife. Yeah. My wife's just come back to us. She's been over there. Now she's come back here, but it's my wife. It's okay. It's my wife.
Yeah, it's true. I think you've done that before, actually, just to stop the touch and the kind of like shaking their heads.
We need the acceptance.
Yes. Oh, but no, it is funny. So honestly, I want to know if you had an experience in queuing in the UK. Let me know how you got on, because it really is a national institution.
And you know what, Tracy? I think we should add it onto our CV or resumes. We are expert professional queuers
Cures.
Is that a word? Cures.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And that actually kind of goes really well with the next one that I'm going to talk about.
Sorry, does it?
Yes, and that is the word sorry, because we use it all the time
It's
in
massive.
different
It's a
contexts.
massive word.
And my favourite use of sorry, or the favourite time you'll hear the word, or my favourite, I guess, is that you say sorry when you're apologising for what somebody else has done.
Yeah.
So,
Or you say it at the same time as somebody
you say
else.
at the same
That's even
time,
better.
yeah. Like somebody's trying to get past you on their chain, and they say sorry to you, and you're saying sorry to them. Meanwhile, you've not done anything. They're trying to get past you, and they're saying sorry, but you're still apologising to them. It is just such a British thing to do.
It is, but it's automatic. There's no thought process involved with it. It's just comes straight out. It's just one of those things that we say it. Yeah.
I wonder how many times a day that we actually we say sorry. And I'm in London at the minute, so I'm probably saying it a million times a day. All the time. But yes, that is a favourite. So if I just think we just seem to apologise just basically.
It's true. Mine usually starts with a moan or a whinge. I apologise. Sorry, I have to tell you that I think this service is awful. Why am I apologising for your service being terrible? I have no idea. I'm sorry, that's my seat. That's my seat.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's my seat.
Yeah, you get on a train and you've got a reservation and somebody's sat in your seat, and you don't go up to them and go, well, you just wouldn't go, that's my seat. You go, I'm really sorry.
Sorry.
But we're apologising for the fact that somebody's nicked our seat.
Yeah, I mean, it can start the ball rolling when they come back and say, sorry, yes, it is. And then you go, well, sorry, can I have my seat? Well, sorry, but you can't, no. Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry, but I do, because I actually, exactly. It just becomes a complete sorry. A sorry
situation.
Honestly, it is just, it's a word that you can hear all the time. I just think we're just a nation of apologisers.
Cues and apologies,
Yes, absolutely.
It's true.
So, I mean, if a British person says sorry and you're not quite sure why, just go with it. Just go with it. Because they probably haven't done anything wrong, but they're just apologising for potentially maybe doing something wrong to irritate you, or getting in your way.
Or potentially going to do something wrong in a minute. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So just potentially doing it, yeah. So the next one I've got is understatement. I guess, we kind of say one thing but often mean another thing.
We are good at this one. This is very much in the subconscious as well. It's like the underplaying. We're good with, obviously, things like the weather we talk about a lot, but the classic ones are, it's a bit cold today, it's a bit chilly. Yeah. Actually, it's bloody freezing.
It's freezing cold. Yeah. Or I feel a little bit rough, but you're actually really, really feeling awful.
Awful today,
But the weather, I think we're a great one to understand. We're going to talk about the weather in a bit, but I think we do. We understate the weather. We're just like, it's a little bit cold, or the best one is, and I think Aussies out there are going to love this one. It gets to 16 degrees. Oh, this always makes me laugh, and it's so hot. It's so hot. We're sweltering. It's just. Yeah. And it's really not that hot. But yeah, that.
or the very good one when it's pouring down with rain. It's a bit wet.
Yeah, it's a bit wet.
We're really good at it's a bit wet. No, it's actually sodden because it's pouring down with rain. That's why it's wet.
Yeah, actually, no. I was thinking about that one about the weather I've just said about it being hot. Is the British people will say it's hot, and I'll be going, oh yeah, it's sweltering. Because it's 16 degrees and it's actually not that hot. But it's that kind of understatement of, not quite, we might go to something and really, really love it. And we'll go, oh yeah, it wasn't bad. But actually we really enjoyed it. Something. And also because we don't really like to let people down. So we might go, for example, we might go to the theatre and see a show and we might have hated it. Generally doesn't happen because I enjoy going to the theatre, but you might go to something and go, well, it was a bit disappointing.
It was okay.
But actually it could have been absolutely dreadful, and we just understate it.
That word rough again, that was a bit rough. That can cover so many things. It's a question
Absolutely.
of interpretation, but nobody's going to ask you to quantify exactly what you mean. It's just that knowing look and, yeah, it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So I think, really, I think if we say something positive, you have to kind of double the sentiment. Maybe we just don't sound that excited, but when we are. And when we say something negative, really triple it, because that's probably a bit more realistic. Because again, we just I think we just don't ever want to offend anybody. So we don't want to overstate things and get everybody too excited about something. Mind saying that, I think I do that a lot on the podcast because everybody else says that. But I think we just are a bit more understated with stuff.
Yeah.
So
A bit more reserved. A
bit more reserved. We just like to keep things on a bit more of an even keel. So not one extreme of way to the other extreme of, no, it was absolutely dreadful. We don't
want to be seen as too excitable. I think that's what it is.
Yes, that's true. That's probably right. And the next one, place name pronunciations.
Whoa.
This one, you know what? I think I'm going to go on Instagram and I'm going to put a whole lot of words up and I'm going to pronounce them. Now, what I'm going to also say, and this is something worth mentioning at this point anyway as well, is that Doug and I are from different parts of the UK. So I'm from the north. So I come from the northernmost county in England, which is Northumberland, which is the best county. There's going to be loads of English people that are going to be sending me messages. And Doug comes from the middle bit. the middle bit
called the Midlands. Not very imaginative, exactly. I grant you. Yeah.
I was going to say that it's not very imaginative, is it? The middle bit. And I'm from the northern bit. I'm still north. Oh, you're not. So we're not going to get into this argument. All right. Okay. This wasn't even on our list of things to do, but I am going to just mention this. Us Northerners, as in me, not Doug, are very protective about our northern character and northern culture. So I get a little bit offended when Doug says that he's from the north, because he's not. He's from the middle. Different.
But I'm not a southerner, now, so therefore I'm from the north.
But you're not. You're a Midlander. Exactly. Because now, for anybody in the south, so that is kind of London and around. I don't know where that kind of line is, but
Watford.
anywhere. No, yeah, I'm going to say anywhere north of Watford is considered to be north. Well, I have to tell you, when my grandfather was alive, and I visited with a friend of mine from Liverpool that I was at school with. And my grandfather called her a southerner. So it's put it all in from Liverpool. I know. She was like, no, I'm not. In a Scouse accent, which I can't do. No. Yeah, so actually, I will mention, you're going to get lots of different accents. But what you're going to find out is that we pronounce things probably not how you expect.
That's true. But we also possibly, in our defence as well, not being from, say, some of these places we're going to mention, these names, we ourselves may not 100% pronounce them how the locals do.
That is a huge and excellent point, because there's an episode about Edinburgh coming out in a couple of weeks' time, and I talk about pronouncing Edinburgh. Now, I pronounce Edinburgh like somebody from the northeast. Not Edinburgh. So that's how I say it. That's how I grew up to say it. But the main thing I think in that episode I was trying to say, if you want to say it my way, or Edinburgh, but is not say Edinburgh. That's the huge one. That's a huge sticking point. And honestly, if you're not sure how to pronounce somewhere, just ask somebody. Ask, or even I've done it on Google. I put the word in Google. Say, how do you pronounce this? Obviously for other, not necessarily British place names, but just so I've got an idea of how you actually pronounce a place name.
True.
Now, I think we in the UK just love to confuse everybody with the different ways that we spell things, which are not related to how you actually pronounce it.
I'm going to have to just stop you there. You mentioned the northeast. There's one particular place in the northeast, which is, I'm not sure how big the place is, but it causes massive confusion. I'm going to say Chambois, and you're going to tell me. It's Camas. Now you need to say how you spell that.
Yeah, it's Cambois. There's no H in it. by the way. So it's Cambois. And you're bringing this one up because this is the one that I mispronounced. I'm from the Northeast and I mispronounced it, much to my mother's hilarity at the time. But on my defense, I've been living in France, so I pronounced it the French way, Cambois. Actually, it's not. It's Camis, but there you go. And it's very small, so I'm not sure many people on this podcast will be headed in Camis.
No, I just wanted to say it.
I'm sure you did.
Sorry.
yeah, I'm sure you are. Sorry. See, there's my sarcasm coming in there. Anyway,
there you go.
So Edinburgh, because I call it Edinburgh, but just not Edinburgh. That's a big one. Yeah. Come on, I'm going to talk about another one in the Northeast that catches everybody out, which is Alnwick. Alnwick, which is spelled Alnwick. So a lot of people want to say Alnwick. It's not. It's Alnwick. Just miss out the N, the L. Sorry, don't miss out the N's. Miss out the L and miss out the W.
That's right.
Come on, you could give me some other examples, Doug.
Well, it's the one not far from where I'm from. It's called Loughborough. The university, which is not easily pronounced. So you say Loughborough, but the spelling is Loughborough.
And we've heard Lugerbrugge, haven't we, for that one?
Lugerbrugge, yes, and it is not. Yes.
Another one that's quite funny. Now this one I find in Australia is pronounced a very interesting way, and that is another one actually not too far from you in the Midlands, which is Leicester.
Yes.
Or in Australia, I've heard it pronounced as Leicester, which I kind of go, what? Which actually, to be fair, when you look at the word, I would also say Leicester because it's Leicester, but it's actually Leicester.
Yeah. That's true.
Again, those kind of the Cester ones get everybody out because we've also got what looks like Bicester, which is actually Bicester.
Bicester,
Bicester. Bicester. I'm going to put these in the show notes if you kind of want to have a look at what we're pronouncing and still not sure.
One of my favourites is down in Cornwall. This one is funny. There's no other way of saying it. It is, the words are mouse hole. Yes. I'm not joking. The place name is called Mouse Hole, but you don't pronounce it like that. You pronounce it Mousel. Mousel, as in, which is not easy. Everybody. It does get everybody.
Because it just looks like mousehole. It should be mousehole. I'm sorry, people are mousehole, but like if you spell it mousehole, everybody's going to say mousehole.
I mean, there's some down in London as well, isn't there? There's Marylebone or Marylebone, depending on how you want to say it. This is one I say wrong.
I say it wrong quite often because you just want to say Marylebone and it's Marylebone. Marylebone, actually. Marylebone. I can't even say it properly because I'm not a Londoner. So again, I apologise. And this is why I kind of say when people say that they're London locals, to be honest, you've got to be born and brought up in London to know this stuff because it's just in your blood. It really, really is.
Yeah. And a few more London ones.
I'm not a Londoner.
Chiswick.
Yeah, Chiswick. Chiswick.
Tottenham.
Well, I had to learn all these. Yeah. When I moved out to London, I had to learn all these because I'm not a native Londoner. I don't know these words. So Greenwich catches a lot of people out because that's spelled Greenwich. Again, we drop the W, Greenwich.
Yeah. And one of my favourite ones is Slough, which is Slough, but you actually pronounce it Slough, as in cow.
Cow. Yeah. So instead of slough, which you kind of want to say.
Well, slough is a nursing term for wounds.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Actually, when we're talking about cows, we get that a lot for Glasgow. So Glasgow is Glasgow, and when quite often that will get pronounced as Glasgow, and it's not. It's Glasgow. But honestly, if you're not sure about pronunciation, just ask. Honestly, ask. Somebody. People will be because honestly, sometimes we have to kind of go, how did you pronounce that? I think it's just, and I'm guessing this is a lot going back to. Obviously, we inherit a lot of place names from the Romans, the Celts, the Anglo-Saxons, whatever. Sure. Whoever's been in the country has developed all the different names. For example, like Chester means fort. So you'll see a lot of towns that end with the word Chester. And that's at Manchester or Chester itself. And that's because the Roman fort. I think it's just fun trying to figure out how to pronounce some of these.
But there's so many.
Words.
Yeah.
But yes, that'll be. So if you found that a bit hard, the best place to go to is the pub. We're going to talk about being at the pub now. Because that is really a big cultural thing in the UK, is that it's not a bar, it's just somewhere that you go. I mean, my dad would go to work, he'd come back at the end of his shift, he'd go and have a bath, get himself washed, and he'd go and have a pint at the pub. And he'd meet all his friends after work, and it was a big social event for him. And that's what he enjoyed doing. And that's what he looked forward at the end of the day. He'd just go and have a pint, have a chat. And you'll find a lot. I mean, people have their pub that is in the area that they'll go to, and they'll have lots of friends and.
I said there's also meeting places for clubs and societies, and and it was as you say, a very big social part of a local community.
Yeah, and I know when I was because I was at Leadenhall Market the other day, and I know the guide was saying that quite often American people find it quite interesting that during the day, people at lunchtime will go out and have a pint before going back to work, which is, and again, it's that kind of social, go out at lunchtime, just go and probably even have half a pint or whatever, and then go back to work in the afternoon. Again, that's normal. Or after work, you'll see a lot of people, if you're in Covent Garden, always, you see loads of people around the pubs at Covent Garden enjoying a pint after work and a chat. No. No, that's another thing worth saying, actually. If you go to a pub, you can have non-alcoholic drinks, because you don't drink. So
I don't drink, no. But I love that atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good place for things like football these days as well. People go and watch, on the screens, to put live matches on. There's always pool tables and darts boards. And as you say, it's just that social. Yeah.
Yesterday, actually. Meeting. Yeah, yesterday I was in Oxford and having a drink and having some food. That's the other thing I kind of mentioned. And the football was on in the background. So, and actually the fire was on yesterday. It wasn't very warm.
Really?
So fire was on. Yeah. You'll see dogs are allowed in pubs. So you're probably going in. There'll be some well-behaved dogs sitting there. So when you go into a pub, a few things to know is that you go to the bar and order. If it's got a restaurant part to the pub, then generally you'll have to wait to be seated. Or sometimes, again, this is a bit confusing. We have to kind of figure this out. With some places you go to, some places you go and you get your seat. There's a number on the table, and then you go and order your food. Like even yesterday, there was a number on the table, so I went to order a drink and some food. Then I brought the drinks back to the table, and then the food was delivered to the table. But I paid for that at the bar, and you just wait your turn. You don't tip if you really wanted to for the bomb. You just say, "And one for you." So you just basically buying them a drink.
When it comes to sort of the modern pubs, it confuses sometimes British people just the same. So, but if in doubt, either watch other people, find a table, or wait to be seated when you walk in. Or just ask somebody, you won't be the first person to ask.
A lot of them have instructions though now. Even the one I went to yesterday, it said take a seat and then order at the bar. It actually had the instructions. I guess it was Oxford, so they know there's going to be a lot of people visiting who aren't necessarally going to be up with.
You know what we would do, don't you? We'd probably start the question with a sorry, but can I just ask you?
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so, can I just order? Can I just get a seat myself? And usually it'll say if you've got to wait to be seated. Like if you are joining a group of other people, if somebody buys, people might buy around, so that means they'll just buy a drink for everybody that you're with. So the expectation is that then everybody in that group would buy a round of drinks. So that, you take your turn. Also, the expectation is, you're right, but you don't have to have an alcoholic drink, because you just say you're driving. Even if you're not, you just say you're driving and people aren't going to question it anyway.
You opt out to the round, so that's what you do. Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little, because I don't drink, and I know you don't drink anymore, but you used to have a beer and stuff like that. So I'm not really up on, because I don't drink any of this stuff, but the different beers and lagers and ales and stuff like that you can get.
Yeah, we've got your sort of traditional ales. I mean, I come from a brewery town, so I should know a little bit about this, even though I don't drink anymore. You've got your keg beer, which is your mass-produced beer, which is usually made from hops. So that usually comes in a metal keg, which is what's on the pumps. Then you have your cask ales, which is wooden cask, which is your real ales. They usually come in a wooden barrel and a bit more sort of niche type taste, if you like. So, and then you've got your lagers, which used to be made from bitters, but there's all sort of your designer lagers and things like that. But the UK is not just British ales anymore. You've got beers and lagers and beers from around the world. So it's very much a cosmopolitan market now. But you still have your craft beers. You still have your microbrew beers. Which are very popular, and they're usually the smaller type pubs, not your meal gastro type pubs. These can be really sort of backstreet, sort of smaller, but very much sort of specialist beers, if you like, for a refined taste, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you can obviously order half a pint or a pint.
Yeah, half a pint or pints,
and it's warm as well. Somebody mentioned the other day about the fact that British beer is warm. It's supposed to be kind of room temperature, isn't it? Is that right?
Well, you've got to look at the temperatures of where you are. I mean, if you're in Australia, say in Queensland, they want a chill beer to refresh you, but you would not want a real ale freezing cold because it'd affect the flavour and the taste.
Right, okay.
So you would not want that. Lagers more so, but proper ales, no, you want it cool but not cold because it affects the flow, I understand, and affects the flavour, and it should be standing.
Okay, right. So hopefully that clears up any confusion about going into a pub.
I am not an expert on beers anymore, so if I've got any details slightly wrong, I apologise. Somebody just correct me.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a while since you've had a beer, so
yeah.
I don't know. You used to enjoy your whiskey as well, but you can get in pubs.
Yeah.
You can get lots of gins.
Yes.
I particularly like gin, and there's lots of great gins. Gin and tonic has been my drink of choice recently, and being able to try that in the pub. Oh, another drink to try, actually, if you do want something in the UK in the summer, is a Pimm's. I absolutely love it. Pimm's and lemonade. It's just perfect when it's warm. And if they ask to put the fruit in, say yes, you want all the fruit. Because, I had one. It was actually warm last week before then it turned arctically cold again. So when I was at the pub earlier on the week, sounds like I've been at the pub a lot, I did have a Pimm's and lemonade, which was very nice.
Very nice.
Oh, it's like summer in the UK.
Good stuff. Right, so what's the next one? Is our humour.
Yes. And I think, that can sometimes be taken the wrong way. But, I mean, there's so many British TV shows that are so popular around the world, like comedian, like funny, like Monty Python, I guess, is a really good one to kind of mention, that people love. But that
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, kind of are, I don't know. I think it can, and also it can be quite ironic. So it's about kind of taking sometimes what we say with a bit of a pinch of salt. Like again, it's a bit like we talked about before when we talked about that understatement and that kind of that irony is that we might use that, or it's kind of that kind of irony and kind of taking the mickey out. Yeah.
We can be deadpan with no expression.
And taking the mickey out of ourselves as well. And with a kind of straight face. And then that can be a little bit difficult sometimes for people to interpret.
I can explain one of them in particular. Good example.
Yeah.
When I was in UK last time, when it's in September into October, and I was on the train and it was late, basically. And this guy next to me, we had not spoken the entire journey, and he just turned to me and went, "Oh, that went well, didn't it?" And that was all he said. And I went, "Yeah." Neither of us said another word. We just looked at each other and went, "Yeah." And that was it. And there was another couple sitting across from the table. I don't know whether from them was not involved with it, but they just looked at the both of us thinking, I got the impression they didn't understand exactly what we were just saying, because all he said was, "Well, that went well, didn't it?"
Yeah,
and I don't think they knew exactly what we meant. But that is just that.
And that's what I'm saying about. Sometimes you just know, because you just know, don't you? It's kind of we brought up with that, and you kind of just know what's going on, and that kind of telepathy of on the same wavelength. I think
it's a shared experience. I think so. It's a shared experience. We don't need to say, because we're both thinking exactly the same thing. Yeah,
but it's the fact we think of it in those terms as well.
Yeah.
You know that. Oh well, that went well. you know, in that kind of like, everybody going, are they being serious? No, we're not. We're actually not. We're being ironic.
I have to tell you, another one is on a sports theme, is when your team, you just went, well played.
Yeah, because it was awful.
We're thinking complete opposite. You're absolutely rubbish. There's no well played about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that sarcasm. Oh yeah, it's sarcasm. That thing as well. Yeah, you know, you open the door and it's pouring rain. Oh, great weather today. You know, it's that. It's that kind of understated irony. I think. To be honest, again, I guess I think the 0.4 and 0.7 kind of go together. So we should have rolled those into one. But
I know. Nice weather for ducks.
Yes, that's another one, which actually takes us really well. A nice segue, Doug, into 0.8, which is the weather, which is
love it.
It's a hobby, isn't it? It's a hobby.
It is a hobby.
About the weather is a hobby. Because you know what? And I mean, we shouldn't say commenting about the weather isn't moaning, but I think we do moan about it all the time, because we moan even when it's nice, because people say it's too hot. Which always makes me, because it's like 16 degrees, it's too hot, we're sweltering. It's 22 and that's it, it's a heat wave, and everybody is just like, oh, can't bear this, it's just too hot. It's just, it's ridiculous. I can't breathe, it's just too hot. And then of course in the winter,
it's not moaning. I think it's a weather report or observation or a prediction.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we talk about
naturally,
it all the time.
I don't think we have much faith in weather forecasting. So I think what it is, we like to make our own observations and say, it's raining out there. It's very wet.
You know what? I think there's two ways of using it. I think we do complain, and I think there's it's just a complaining culture about the weather, or just because we just naturally do it. But there's also the kind of like, oh, it's just rubbish. But there's also the using it to have a conversation.
It's an icebreaker,
have a conversation.
Isn't it?
About the weather. You know, and you can talk about it. Honestly, if you want to talk to a British person, start with the weather. Then you are. You're away. You're away. Really, that'll be it. You'll be talking to them for hours.
It is. But you've got to choose that right moment. There's no good being in the theatre and start talking about it raining outside, unless you're about to walk outside and you can hear the rain. But you've got to choose that right moment.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I would think. I'm wondering how many times a day. I don't do this when I'm in Australia. I heard of it because it's just pretty nice all the time. I did do it when I was in Perth and it was cold. I think I'll moan more when it's cold than when it's hot. I just think it's really interesting that, we always comment on it here. The comments are there. And then if it's an extreme of one or the other, I think it can then go into, I don't know, a bit of a moan. Oh, I want to get shot down for British people saying this, but
there is funny moments with it. You know, somebody walks in from the outside, absolutely soaked through, and what would a British person say? Is it raining?
Yeah, it's true.
No, I've just had a shower with my clothes on.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, is it raining heavy? Is it raining heavy? That's it. It's like, I don't know. It's I have to say though, since being back there, and you'll be exactly the same when you cover next week, we get obsessed with it. Yeah. And you know why? I know why. It's because you just don't know what you're going to get. So earlier this week, I was in Kew Gardens and it was warm, right? Hot. Warm. I want to say hot, but warm. By Wednesday, it would be what I would classify as hot. It was like 25 degrees, I think. So which is fairly hot. Even in Australia, we'd say that's pretty hot. Warm to hot. And then I froze on Friday. in London. I think it felt like it was about minus 7,000 with a wind chill of about minus 7 million. It was ridiculous. So I from wearing kind of short sleeve T-shirt, and now yesterday I went out with a thick puffer jacket on, my cashmere scarf on, and I really wished I'd had a hat later on in the day and gloves because my fingers were going to fall off. So I think that's why we get obsessed, because we don't know what it's going to be like.
I'm going to ask you a question. This is not rehearsed. We're not doing this at all. If somebody comes up to you and starts talking about the weather, what do you usually respond with? Because if somebody not from the UK is asked about the weather, how do you think they should respond? Because
so if somebody came up to me and said something about the weather, well, I was doing a lot of talking about the weather on Friday, because we were standing just waiting to start Saturday for the DeVow food tour, and we were talking about the weather because it was cold, and we were cold, going, oh, it's terrible. Then it was like, I think it started off with, oh, it's a bit chilly, which might have been me or other couple, I can't remember. But then there was a lot of comments about the weather. And then it was, I think the prediction, actually what's really interesting, it starts with that. And then you either will talk about how it's been, but it was lovely earlier on in the week. And then you'll start predicting. So you'll start predicting for the rest of the day. Well, look at the sky. It looks like there's rain in there. There's rain over there. Yeah. There's rain. There's clouds coming. And then as the day goes on, and actually this is indicative of Saturday, because we had so many different types of weather. It's a bit warmer now. That wind's calmed down. So
So it's a weather report now, and we're going to predict the weather for later. That's what I said, because we don't have a lot of faith in the weather forecasting, so we have to do it ourselves. That's what you're saying.
And also, there's that nostalgia for when it was actually nicer weather. So you'll hear a lot of talk about, last summer was lovely, or the other day it was lovely.
Which is totally irrelevant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally irrelevant. But there's a kind of wistfulness of that, of like,
happy
remember
memories.
remember when. Yeah. And I know at the beginning of this year it rained. I think it was basically 40 days and 40 nights of rain, and people are still talking about it here. Oh, but the rain. We just had rain. We just never thought it was going to stop raining. So actually, I'm just looking out the window now. We've got blue sky and sunshine, so that's really good.
Oh, wow.
So
what's it going to do later?
I'm quite happy with that. I think this entire week, because yes, I have looked at the entire week ahead, is pretty good. I think tomorrow's grey, which is unfortunate because I'm actually out with Robin Launder, doing some of his fantastic walks in London. Actually, the next 2 days I'm going to be doing some walks with Robin.
That will be fantastic.
Which great. I'm looking forward to. But I think the weather's a little bit grey, but we'll see how it goes. Actually, because I'm going to Scotland next week, I'm more interested in Scotland because it can be very cold and very windy and very rainy, and I want to make sure I pack the right clothes. So I have been, and I will every day this week, I will check the weather in Scotland, where I'm going to Scotland anyway, just to check. Because you can't, I could look today and it could say one thing, and I could look tomorrow and it say another thing, and so you've just got to keep on top of it, really. Big thing though for packing, and I talk about all the time, and we've got episodes about packing and lots of articles about packing. It's just layers. Just make sure you bring layers, because as I say, I've worn summer clothes this week, and now I'm into my. I get my thermals out yesterday. It was so cold. But should we talk about? Well, we're going to be here all day, so we need to get on with the next one, I think, because again, this is what happens when we start chatting. Tipping. Whoa.
Tipping. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this
confusing
can make people
for everybody, even us.
Yes, it can be uncomfortable.
British people, we don't like talking about money. I think that's a thing.
I think that's
we don't
what it
like
is.
Asking, and we don't like asking for tips, even though we do have a tip your guide, and you can sponsor this podcast, because Doug and I have realised that actually we just have to be a bit more, less uncomfortable with it, and just a bit more upfront about it, because we need it to keep the business running and keep giving you all the free information.
We give such a lot out for free, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have kind of got over that, but to start with, we were like, we can't ask,
can't possibly
ask, and I see that actually quite a lot. The tour guides, when I go out tour guides, I see that kind of sense of tipping. It's just it's such a difficult one, and I know a lot of cultures kind of expect to tip. Australia, we don't tend to tip. Americans, I know you love to tip. I know it's in your culture, so I don't know whether you love to tip, but I know it's an expectation.
But this is how things have changed over the years, though, isn't it? I mean, when I was growing up, I don't consciously remember tipping even mentioned, well, basically nobody talked about money in public in the first place.
No.
So it's just not a topic that's raised.
No, I wouldn't do that at all. I think we're just more awareness now because obviously it's something we get asked about a lot. I have to say that most of the places I've been out to eat have added a 12.5% discretionary service charge, which is basically a tip, onto the bill. It's supposed to be discretionary, but obviously just pay it. But unless you've had bad service and don't pay it, then you should be kind of questioning that. But most of the time that's added on. I mean, like pubs and things, you don't tip. Restaurants, yes, you can. As I say, that there'll probably be a tip added on these days. It seems to be kind of just added on there. But coffee shops and cafes, you're not expected to tip. If you take a black cab, for example, you can round up to the nearest kind of pound. But obviously, I think it's, you know what, in some ways, I think it's, I don't know if it's easier or harder to tip now because it's not a cash culture. We use cards for everything, but then often you'll get asked, do you want to add the tip on? I think it's a bit more difficult on tours and things like that, like how you give a tip. So if you want to do a tip, I mean, quite often I think you can get a QR code now from tour guides because I think, tour guides work really hard and deserve a tip. But I know some carry around a little card reader so that you can tap them and tip them that way. But again, I think British, we're just uncomfortable with that, Yeah. But one thing I would say, and I've heard this around, and actually I don't know, maybe I should ask some tour guides how they feel about this. Maybe it's a tip is a tip in whatever currency. But I do hear quite often about people saying, I haven't got any cash, I'm just going to tip in US dollars or whatever. And they're going to have to change it. Well, I kind of think, I don't know. It makes me, where they're going to change it? Unless they're going to, it's going to cost them to change it. And if you're going to give a $20 tip, it's not going to be worth them changing it. So I imagine that just goes in a drawer at home. So just think about that if you're going to tip, how you're going to do it. Because I think it feels, it's like if I went to Spain and went on a tour, I wouldn't want to tip in British pounds. I just think, think carefully of like, if you're going to tip in your currency, because that's what you've got, what do you expect them to do with it? Again, tour guides might be listening to this and go, it's all right, Tracy, because we get $20 regularly from people, and at the end of the month we have $500 and we just go into the exchange and change it. So
and the other thing is, everything was said about the British culture. If the tour guide is British, they would not have the heart to say no.
No, they wouldn't say anything anyway.
They wouldn't say anything because you've got to take it in the spirit that it's meant. It's meant as a reward for your work or good service or,
and that's just fine. And like I say, for me, it's just I feel like you should be tipping in the currency that we use and not your home currency.
True.
Because I just hear that quite often. But then again, if you're not going to tip at all because you've only got US dollars or Australian dollars, whatever, still give them money, because I'm sure I can hear two guys go, no, Tracy, we still want the tip.
Well, they wouldn't go and exchange it in one go, would they? They'll wait until the end of a season and do it in one go, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. So I don't want to speak out of turn, but I just think, if you can make an effort to get some, it's saying that again, it's not a massive cash culture anymore. I have not used any cash for the last few years in the UK at all. I was given some cash the other day because I paid for something in a restaurant, and I will take that to Scotland to see if I use that, especially because I'm going to be on the islands and I'm wondering if I might use the cash on the Scottish islands, but I just don't tend to use it. But anyway, I've just thrown that one in. That was just an aside. Should we talk about number 10? Because again, we're going to talk forever. It's just the regional difference, which we've kind of talked about. Yeah. Because of the fact that I'm from a different part of the UK than Doug.
Yeah. And Doug's from the Superior Midlands area of the UK.
No, you're not. Go away. Right, should we explain a little bit? Because you know what? This, again, confuses everybody. And actually, I remember being on a tour a few years ago and somebody was asking me if Wales was a country. I was like, oh, my God. Yes. Yes, it's a country. It I think they didn't think it was a country. So let me just say, Great Britain is made up of England, Scotland and Wales, which are all countries. England is a country, Scotland is a country, Wales is a country. Scottish people and Welsh people do not want to be called English. Do not call them English because they're not.
They are very proud
Scottish
and patriotic.
And the Welsh. Absolutely.
Quite
It's
right.
really important. Scotland is not England. Wales is not England. And that really matters to Scottish and Welsh people. It really, really does. You can call us all British. We're all British. So Scottish, Welsh, English, we're all British. But again, still Scottish people want to be Scottish. Welsh people want to be Welsh. I think English people, we don't really care if we call it English or British.
I tell you what, you say they don't care, but each of those countries are very patriotic and very proud. And we all stand united. But I tell you, when they're playing each other at sport for their own countries, they are fiercely patriotic. You will see exactly how patriotic they are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, well, it's important, I think, just to kind of say that, so Great Britain, England, Scotland, Wales, 3 countries, 3 proud nations.
Absolutely.
United Kingdom is Great Britain plus Northern Ireland. So Republic of Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And as you can hear from Doug and I's accent, we sound different because we're different from different parts of the UK. And you can go 20 miles down the road and you're going to get a completely different accent.
That's right.
So we have different names for people from different parts of the country as well, depending on their accent, don't we? So what am I?
We certainly do. You're a Geordie, man.
I'm a Geordie, like. So I'm a Geordie from the Northeast. Should we go through some other different regional nicknames?
Go on then, I'll do the Liverpool people.
I was going to say Liverpool supporter.
The Scousers.
So Scousers.
Very decent people.
Yeah, what about the Brummies or Yam Yams?
Well, now, I worked in Birmingham for a while, and I remember I called everybody a Brummie. Brummie is just short for Birmingham. And I was, you'd think I I was in trouble. But from the industrial heartlands around there, it was known as the Black Country. So the Black Country is somebody, they call them a yam yam. A yam yam is just the way that they talk. I won't attempt it because I'm not very good at it. But it's a variation of a Brummie accent. And then obviously we all know what Cockneys are, don't we?
Yes, and of course with the Cockneys you get the rhyming slang, which I can't do because again I'm not from London, so I'm not a Londoner. I am not a local. I don't know all of the. I know apples and pears.
yeah, that's
which
true.
are
Stairs.
And
I was going to mention this later on. I know what a cup of Rosie Lee is.
Oh, yes. Well, we all know what a cup of Rosie Lee is.
But I will point out about regional accents, they do actually vary within a location where, based on age, based on which part of that town or city you come from. And because there is variance of each dialect.
Yeah.
So we could mention the Northeast. We got, say, from Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Newcastle. There is variations in that language, isn't there? Yeah,
very. Like I can tell where somebody from the Northeast, depending on their accent, because they're not going to sound like me. So there are variations, and also I will say that older people will have a much stronger accent. My grandfather unfortunately passed away 20 years ago, but if I had friends that came over, say from Liverpool, could not understand a word my grandfather said because he had a very strong Northumbrian accent. So again, you don't hear that was very guttural, which you tend not to hear very much anymore. It's kind of died out a bit. But yes, even within a region, you're going to get different variations on it. Also, you get really cute, different, I'll say pet and you'll say duck. So those are kind of, when I say, are you all right, pet? So I'd say, are you all right, pet? And you'll so, oh, eat me duck.
Oh, eat me duck, yeah. What saying it like that is not necessarily from where I'm from, it's where I worked for many years. I worked in Derbyshire, because I'm from Staffordshire, albeit it is used there, but it's mostly from me working in the city of Derby, in Derbyshire, where I was exposed to that on a daily basis. That was constant. And I will point out to any of our listeners that Tracy, when she's very, very angry with me, does actually go native. So at times I do not understand a word that she's saying to me, which helps.
No, you just say that, and it's not true. That's not saying. Yeah, I do. When I go back to the northeast, when I go back to the northeast, I'm cross with you. I sound more Geordie, that's for sure. But when I go up there, they just say that I'm very posh now. I get told
that's
that I'm
right. You're posh Geordie. Yeah,
posh Geordie, which is really, really funny. But this is another reason I kind of really, really, really encourage you guys to go outside of London. Don't just spend your entire trip in London, because it's like me going to New York or Sydney. You know, you're not experiencing the whole everything. You're just experiencing one little capital city. Well, actually, Sydney isn't the capital city. Before Australians jump on, I know it's not. I know it's Canberra. However, you know, everybody will go to Sydney. Everybody, well, New York maybe. A lot of people go to New York. And I know New York is also not the capital of the US, because I can know people go, it's not these. Yes, I know they're not capitals, but these are kind of the places where, you know, you go. A lot of people talk about going to Sydney. A lot of people talk about going to New York, but they're not. They're just the small example. They're not. You need to go outside of those big metropolises to go and experience a bit more.
There
of
is
the
a
country.
city culture, isn't there? Whatever country you're in, there is to a degree a certain city culture. And I think if you move away from there, I think generally speaking, there is a bit more friendliness and openness and a little bit more trustworthiness. And the further you move away from the bigger cities, the more rural somewhere is, I think there's a little bit more. I mean, I'm going very much sort of rule of thumb because, you know, I've met some lovely people in London and I've met some lovely people, you know, cities everywhere. But I think by and large, I think you move away from the bigger cities, I think it's easier to talk to people.
Yeah, I guess so. So maybe a bit friendlier and not rushing around as much as they do in the big cities. Yeah,
the friendliest people in the UK are obviously from the Midlands.
I'm not going to even argue with this one. Right, I'm going to go on to the next one because we've already spoken for over an hour, so we need to get on. Another one is, again, British. Don't talk loudly, especially on public transport, because we tend not to be really loud. I was actually reading something on Facebook the other day, and they were saying which nationality are the loudest. And interestingly, Spanish came very high on that. Americans came very high. But yeah, Spanish. I was quite surprised at that. But you'll find that we tend to be quite quiet, especially on public transport.
That's right. I mean, London transport, I mean, I can talk from a train perspective. London transport, particularly on the underground, is people like to be in their own bubble. If you're wearing earphones, that's a sign, do not talk to me sort of thing. On commuter trains, not just London, but everywhere, because I commuted for many years in the UK. And it's very much this is my time before work, don't talk to me. And if you should see somebody or hear somebody talking about work, they get the look. They get the look off everybody because you do tend to see a lot of the same faces on a daily basis. And so, they talk a lot, so we'll sit away from them. So there is definitely a protocol as regards commuters and London transport is the fact that you just do not, as a rule, talk to other people.
You don't make eye contact either.
You don't make eye contact.
No eye contact.
No. On longer train journeys, there is a bit more, particularly if you're sharing a table up. I've written about this in our ebook, Guide to UK Train Travel. I've actually mentioned that in there as well. That the certain icebreakers, if there's announcements made or if the journey's not going to plan, there's more of a readiness to talk to each other. But it's hard to gauge exactly how long that conversation is going to last, and that's the tricky bit. Is the fact that is it just a couple of word answers, or is that then a conversation for the journey? I travelled back from Penzance in Cornwall to London. I sat next to a lady, and we chatted the entire way back. So, but you've got to sort of gauge it. But if it was a quiet coach, that is it. That is accepted. It is quiet. Yes, you can talk to each other,
quiet.
but you keep that volume down. You don't play music, and you don't make phone calls because you will get you will get that look. You will get that look of people. And
that reminds me, actually, Doug, when you said that about we were coming back when we flew back in. I flew in from Marrakesh a couple of weeks ago from Morocco into Stansted, and then got the train into London. And this lady was on the train, sitting at a table, and obviously some member of her family phoned out. Well, I tell you what, the entire carriage heard her plans for the rest of the evening. Bless her. I think she had absolutely no idea that she was shouting as loudly as possible. Well, again, I guess it's like the Q thing. We don't say anything.
no,
There's just knowing looks between, everybody was kind of looking around, looking at each other. We were all like, oh, nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. We all thought it. We all looked at each other thinking it. But again, British politeness, we just went, okay, fine, and just ignored her. But she spent about 20 minutes literally talking about a trip and what she was doing, and she was going to pick her up, and it just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it can be entertaining. If you finish reading your book or your music's not very good to listen to, you listen to somebody else's conversation. You know so much about their life when they get off the train. You know all the close friends, where they're going out, what time they've been picked up.
What she was doing was funny, but there was such a very British response to that, and that we all just tutted and kind of looked eyes to heaven and kind of like, oh dear. She was British lady doing it, but she just had no awareness, which was quite funny. Right, going to end with one of our favourite topics is British love of tea and our love of tea, because Doug and I absolutely both have tea running through our veins.
We are tea addicts, it's fair to say. Yes, that is probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't drink coffee.
No, I don't.
Doug doesn't drink coffee.
No.
None of us likes coffee.
No.
So we get asked a lot about where to drink coffee in London, and honestly, I couldn't tell you.
No idea.
I couldn't tell you.
No idea.
Because I don't even like the smell of this stuff, so I don't drink it. I do drink chai latte, which I've found a lot more of this time. I've had a few chais in the last few days. Now, if you do go for a proper afternoon tea, and actually we're going to do a podcast all about afternoon teas in a few months, so listen to this. But if you go for a proper afternoon tea, you're going to get a teapot, you'll get tea leaves, and you get a strainer, which is always very exciting, because I must admit I'm a bit lazy. I'm a tea bag person. I like my tea bag and my cup.
Yeah.
Oh, and you never, ever, ever add the milk. I never add the milk until after I have made the tea. Then I put the milk in.
I can tell you something about that.
Don't.
Do you know traditionally?
Yeah, go for it.
Traditionally, the milk was always put in first to protect the porcelain cups. So you would never put hot tea in it.
Yes, from staining.
So you protect it. So, but the great thing about tea, and I'm just going to defend the British culture as regards tea. Tea reaches across cultures, ages, wealth. No matter what you've got, tea fits every moment, every situation. Let's put the kettle on. We'll make a brew. We'll have a cuppa. We'll have a cup of Rosalie, depending where you're from. It covers everything. Even when things are going badly or going well, put the kettle on. Have a cup of tea.
Absolutely. And a kettle. Has to be a kettle.
It's got to be a kettle.
You can't put it on the hob or put it in a microwave. It's got to be a kettle. Yeah. In fact, I was out yesterday. As I mentioned, I was actually on a Cotswolds and Oxford tour, so I was out all day. Got in it after 9 o'clock. Left it 7:30 yesterday morning. Got in at 9 o'clock last night. And you know what the first thing was that I did when I walked in?
Put kettle on.
I put the kettle on and had a cup of tea.
Yeah. Admittedly, I do like it with a slice of Victoria sponge or a decent traditional English biscuit. There's nothing wrong with that one. I mean, and they do complement each other very well.
Yeah, see, I'm not a massive biscuit lover, but I will occasionally have a chocolate digestive, or a hobnob. With chocolate. It's because I have chocolate. I have to have milk chocolate on my biscuit. But I'm not like my mum, and you're also big biscuit fans.
I'm going to chew this in there.
I just want my cup of tea.
I would have a cow biscuit. That's
cow biscuit.
Yeah, a malted milk cow biscuit, as we used to say when I was growing up. Milk. So you'd have to be British to know that. Probably my age as well, but. They used to be...
Or tea cake. Tea cake. Well, had a tea cake yesterday.
Yeah.
Tonic's tea cake. Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very popular.
Yeah. But I'm happy to have just a cup of tea.
Me too.
Don't have to have a biscuit.
I've had about 10 cups of tea today. So I mean...
Well, on that note, we should probably finish off this
we
podcast and go and put the kettle on.
Yeah.
That's what I would suggest. Because after this podcast, Doug and I actually were going to record our 200th podcast edition, which is the week after next. So next week is my review of the English bus and the 3 different tours that I've taken with them. So do tune in if you're considering a day trip from London, because that's great. And then the following week is episode 200. So we're going to talk about things that we've learnt over the 200 episodes. Some of the great tips that we obviously share, and some of the great tips that people have shared, because we always end an episode with, what's your number one tip? And so we're going to chat about that. I hope that's going to be a really helpful episode. But you can find some information if you want to look up the different place names that we mentioned. I think I will put something on Instagram, because I think that'd be fun as well to do. You can find that at the show notes at uktravelplanning.com. Also, share this episode if you've got somebody who's planning to visit the UK or is simply just interested in British culture. Share it with your friends. We always really appreciate that, don't we, Doug?
Yeah, absolutely do. It's a light-hearted look at the British culture.
Yes, honestly, we could probably do quite a few more of these, for sure. Let us know if you've enjoyed it. Get in touch via SpeakPipe. Leave us a message. We love hearing from you guys. We really, really love to know what you enjoy. Yeah. We need to know what is it that which episodes do you like in particular? What would you like to hear in future? And obviously, a big sorry to take that out, right? And a big shout out to our sponsors, our podcast sponsors every month. We really, truly appreciate you for what you do. You can sponsor the podcast from as little as $3 a month. If you enjoy the podcast and you listen every week, please, please, please support us. It does cost us a reasonable amount of money every week to put together the episode. And obviously we have an editor, and then I have hosting for everything. So it's not a cheap process, but we love doing it, hence the fact we're nearly on 200 episodes. Yeah. But yeah, Doug will be joining me in a few weeks' time. So there's going to be some episodes all about our trips around the UK. We're just busy planning them at the minute. We're not 100% sure what we're going to do, but we've got some ideas.
There will be trains involved. Lots of trains. I
was going to say, and if you're into YouTube, there's going to be a lot more coming on YouTube. Doug's been putting a lot of train videos together. So if you're into YouTube, pop over there and, join us over there, subscribe. Watch some of those episodes. If there's some particular things that you want, we're going to be working harder on that later on in the year to add as many YouTube videos as we can. We seem to have conquered the podcasting world, so now it's time to conquer YouTube, Doug. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that just leaves... Is there anything else you want to say, Doug, before we sign off?
No. Let me know if you agree that the Midlands is the best place in the UK.
Oh, for goodness sake, I think you should cut that bit out, Ryan. That's our editor. Anyway, I am going to say until next week, from both myself and Doug, happy UK travel planning. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. As always, show notes can be found at uktravelplanning.com. If you've enjoyed the show, why not leave us feedback via text or a review on your favourite podcast app? We love to hear from you, and you never know, you may receive a shout out in a future episode. But as always, that just leaves me to say, until next week, happy UK travel planning.